This Christmas, I've been thinking about three things: anticipation, disruption, and recreation. Every time Christmas comes around, we are anticipating something: presents, trees, lights, gifts. When I was growing up, the thing that I was really looking forward to was carol singing. Carol singing really is getting together with a bunch of your friends from church, getting on a vehicle, and traveling from one house to the other, singing carols. But for me, really, the highlight about carol singing was not really carols, but it was the food that was involved in every home that we visited. Every home would make sure that they give us their best meal. So one Christmas, as a young boy, we were going from house to house. We were looking forward to every home. And then we were about to reach the last home. And in the last home, usually that would be the grand finale. That's where we get the best food for the evening. But just before we could reach this house, someone stopped our vehicle and asked if we could help them. What was this help? We realized that this person was a construction worker and his wife was in the middle of giving birth and it had encountered some complication and they wanted us to take her to the hospital. So there was this disruption. This meant that we might not be able to go to the last home for the grand meal that was prepared. But this disruption, this feeling of being sort of disgruntled and dissatisfied with what the outcome was, but the moment the baby was born in the hospital, our whole attitude changed. From being sort of disgruntled by the whole episode, we were now sort of filled with a sense of joy. Now, even during Christmas time, when Jesus was born, Mary might have been anticipating, what does this baby look like? A baby that was conceived by the Holy Spirit. So much anticipation around Jesus' birth. Think about the wise men. They were again anticipating, what will this king look like? And within this anticipation, there was some disruption. What was the disruption here? Mary and Joseph had no place in the inn. They had to settle down in a stable so that they can put Jesus in a manger when he was born. The kings were disrupted by Herod. They imagined that the king should be somewhere born in a palace, and then they were encountered and disrupted by Herod. And just think about the things that happened around Jesus' birth. So much bloodshed, because Herod went on a wild rampage, killing kids below the age of 2. So much of disruption. But in the middle of all of this, Jesus' birth changed the whole equation. From anticipation to disruption, now to recreation. I have come to seek and save the lost. God had entered into this world so that he can seek and save that which was lost. Just look at the world around us today. There's so much of loss. Loss of life, loss of identity, loss of relationships. And all of these are causing so much of disruption in people's lives. And in the middle of this, every Christmas, we are reminded of Jesus' birth. So I would encourage each one of us to look around us as we anticipate his birth with all of the grand celebration that we usually involve, to look around for some disruption. Maybe this disruption is in your own life, or maybe disruption is in the lives of others around you. But in this disruption, we can bring hope through the recreative process that Christ brings about in the lives of so many people, in your life and in the lives of those around you. So as you anticipate, expect disruption. But this disruption is not permanent. This disruption is injected with Christ's recreation. Have a happy Christmas.